Hola amigos de Diario El Salvador, soy Kevin Rivera, periodista Bitcoin, y hoy tenemos un invitado muy especial aquí en El Salvador. Tenemos a Bilal Bin Saqib, que es el ministro de Cripto de Pakistán. Es un honor tenerlo aquí. Welcome, Minister. We are so excited to have you here in El Salvador. I think it is an amazing meeting that you already have with so many people here, and we are talking about it. First, welcome to El Salvador. I know you already visited some places, so I want to start with that. How's been the experience so far here in El Salvador?
Thank you so much, Kevin, for having me. It's an absolute honor and a privilege to visit your country, a country that has been a beacon of light, a country that has created legacy, a country that has shown that what conviction is, and that a country that has inspired a lot of countries, including our country. So I always wanted to come to El Salvador, when I used to see tweets from President, and I'm so happy that I finally got the chance to be here. And it's been wonderful. The weather is amazing. The people are great, I'm still exploring and still looking forward. And it's also a great learning experience.
Great, amazing. One of the things, I think you were excited most about it was that the meeting with President Bukele. You already met President Bukele. So, I want to ask you, what impressions did you get from this meeting? And how do you think this El Salvador itself influenced Pakistan and crypto policies, for example?
So I think President Bukele is very unconventional in his approach. I've met a lot of government people, and he doesn't look like a bureaucrat. He's more of a builder.
Yeah.
So you guys are so blessed in El Salvador to have a leader who is so forward-thinking, who is so innovative, who is looking at emerging technologies and is very hands-on with experimenting. Like, I spent a few hours with him, and it was as if I'm speaking to a startup founder who is at the cutting-edge technology of artificial intelligence in, let's say, San Francisco. It was as if I'm speaking to a technologist, not to a politician or a bureaucrat or a president. And you guys are so blessed to have a leader who is looking so closely to where the technology is moving, so he can make sure that his country and his population and his people are very closely following that technology. And I'm so inspired and amazed and honored actually to meet him. He's a very charismatic personality, and essentially, I think most of his policies, he's just focused on tech, which is super amazing, and which is why it makes your country a thought leader when it comes to technology and embracing emerging technologies. And we've seen that with Bitcoin. When it was not sexy
he's right now, right?
to be called a Bitcoiner, people were saying, oh, it's used for money laundering, scam and whatnot. And then, President Bukele was like a small rock in the ocean which was breaking the wave. And it takes a lot, and that is what true leadership is, that when all the odds are against you, you still put your foot down and you show conviction, and that conviction today is paying off.
Yeah, great. So we already have, for example, as you said, the Bitcoin law, which is the first, but we already have this AI law and also the robotics law. So we already have this ecosystem, right, and putting ahead in technology, right? So this is, as you said, this is something like El Salvador is becoming a leader, right? So in talking about this leadership, you all will sign also this letter of intent with the Bitcoin office, which is led by Stacy Herbert. I think this institution per se, they are not just involved in Bitcoin policies, but are also pushing, for example, AI and also robotics. So, I mean, can you explain a little bit about this letter of intent? What do you pursue with this agreement? And I mean, what is coming ahead with this, collaboration between El Salvador and Pakistan?
Yeah, so again, I think that President has a great team of Avengers around him. He's got the best minds in technology who are curious at experimenting, and not just experimenting, but implementing and making sure that they are the first in the world to put El Salvador on the map, including Stacy, Max, and the MOU or the letter of intent is all around education, knowledge building, where we can take a leaf out of El Salvador's book. And a country, our country, it's a big country. We are the 5th most populous country on earth. We are 250 million people and 70% under the age of 30. The median age of the country is 23. And we want to now pick up whatever we can, the best practices, the knowledge, so we can take it back to Pakistan and implement for the youth of our country. And there's a lot to get inspired from, especially on the AI law, robotics. So essentially, I don't think it will be wrong to say that El Salvador is essentially working like El Startup. On emerging tech, and you have the best founder essentially that you can find in a government leadership position, and then all his team. So and I think this LOI and this partnership between El Salvador and Pakistan is also creating a new opportunity where two countries are coming together, not on traditional diplomacy avenues like usually there are military, economic ties. I think Pakistan and El Salvador are creating legacy. They're creating legacy by coming together on the premise of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And that is giving birth to a new era of diplomacy.
Yeah.
Diplomacy which is based on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Where two countries are coming together on the premise of it.
Yeah.
So changing the convention from diplomacy, let's bring that to the 21st century and call it diplomacy.
Wow, this is amazing. I mean, I never think that way, and it is amazing to find. I mean, I think this is the future of diplomacy, right? So and start to create these alliances to build. I mean, to build, and because I mean we can build with technology, and this is the future, and this is the now right now. So this is amazing. Also, we were talking about Bitcoin and Bitcoin reserves. I mean, Pakistan already said that you're building this Bitcoin reserve and you will never sell the Bitcoin reserve. So I think one of the most important things about this letter of intent will be this collaboration between you two and the El Salvador and Pakistan and about specifically this Bitcoin reserve. So I mean, specifically with Pakistan, I mean, what is the reason to create this Bitcoin reserve? And I don't know if you were inspired about El Salvador when you make that decision.
So firstly, let me ask you a question. Have you ever met anyone who has been happy by selling their Bitcoin?
No.
So why should my country sell?
Yeah.
So, and this is all based on historical data. The other thing is, of course, we are inspired by El Salvador because El Salvador did what other countries could not dare to. President Bukele was able to do things which other world leaders were too afraid of doing. Even when, especially with the US regime now, when they say that they want to become the crypto capital of the world, the Bitcoin capital of the world, and if the biggest economic superpower of the world is mentioning and is strategically using Bitcoin as a reserve, then why should we stay behind?
Yeah.
But I think President Bukele is inspired a lot of countries and essentially has become like a reference point in government offices, when you take these discussions to the leaderships, you are not talking in the air. It's not a concept. You can reference El Salvador and how they are now in surplus to an extent where I hope and pray that they are able to set off their IMF loan using Bitcoin. Like all my prayers and well wishes for that. I really want this to become a case study on how a country used Bitcoin to become truly sovereign for its people. Because how else do you get out of this rat race? Bitcoin is the only instrument that is providing you a lifeline, that is providing you an opportunity to reset.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I agree. And also, the other part of the agreement, I think, is the educational part. So El Salvador is already have these amazing programs like Cubo Plus, which is linked with Plan B Network also. And I was a student there, so I know this is an excellent program. I learned a lot about Bitcoin and the ecosystem. But I don't know what this agreement in education look for. What are the main objective of this part, specifically in this agreement?
So Kevin, yesterday I felt like I went to school after a long while. I was at the Bitcoin office and I was sitting with the children there and playing the mining game.
Yeah, LARP. Yeah,
LARP. And I think that is exactly the monopoly level game that every single bureaucrat, politician, and everyone in the world should understand the concept of money, because this is not taught to us.
Yeah.
It is an assumption that when a child will grow up through the hustle and bustle of life would understand what money is. No. And it's great to see that you at a very young age empower your children on understanding what money is and what's the value of money and where is it going and how to be truly free. And again, these are learnings that we want to take to Pakistan, not just for our school children, but for our government offices.
Yeah.
We want to, because the program that is created here is amazing, and it is showing the impacts. So we want to replicate that in our language. So our education is the most important thing, and I think now we are, as humans, we are standing at a place where I think this is the first time since the inception of human mankind that we have a technology that can serve as a great equalizer or could be a threat. I'm mentioning about artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So it's very important that we equip our youth, because it will disrupt everything and anything.
Yeah.
So I think even our curriculums and the current education that we have will become outdated, because everyone will go towards ChatGPT, Groks, Geminis, the LLM models, and it will only get quicker, better, and the adoption will increase. So this arises the question on what should be the correct policy. How should you equip the future generation on something that you are teaching them to be more relevant in 2040, 2045, 2035 or 2030, instead of still looking at 2010, 2015, because that is like a zillion years behind when you see it from an artificial intelligence lens. That's like 500 years. So how do you create certain policies? And then, again, El Salvador already has an AI policy, which is great. But countries like us, and I think AI is a great equalizer for countries like you, because you can have as many AI agents working for you as you want. You are no more at a disadvantage because of resources, because of human resources.
Right. Yeah. I think I mean, education, we already have, for example, besides Google Plus, and I mean, I maybe you talk with that with Stacy, but for example, for the Victon books for kids in schools, and also they are learning about robotics with Arc Educate. So yeah, I think Salvador is making a great job in that part, right, as you said. Another thing, and I want to ask you about this because, I mean, I know Pakistan is already pushing also Bitcoin mining. You already said that you allocated 2,000 megawatts of surplus energy, I guess, so for Bitcoin mining. So what opportunities do you see for energy collaboration with El Salvador, especially in energy sources, such as geothermal, for example? I mean, I know maybe you will, I mean, we are doing some initiatives here, right, about it. So I don't know, what do you see in the future with that part, for example?
Well, when I talk to people here, it's like I'm talking to people from the future. Because you, as a country, are turning fumes into hash rate from the mountains.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of electricity in Pakistan, excess electricity that is produced, but we cannot distribute it. So we pay capacity charges on it. And the whole idea is that if, Bhutan has been able to turn excess electricity, where 40% or 35% of their GDP comes from mining, Ethiopia has, Texas, El Salvador, the whole idea is that we turn that liability into digital gold as well, and we start to accumulate and build our strategic reserve through mining. So of course there is a lot of knowledge building, a lot of learning from us to take from you, because you are doing the most futuristic thing when it comes to mining, and we are still kind of trying to use the conventional electricity or electricity from conventional means, and of course renewable that we have in our country towards mining.
Yeah, I think this is important because, I mean, we in this way the countries also contribute to this high, I mean, improve the hash rate and also the security of the network, right?
Of course, and I think energy is a very big reality with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of energy and we want to use that to our advantage, so that energy which is currently a liability for us turns into our strength.
Yeah, amazing. So my last question is, I mean, we already talked about it because this bit diplomatic, but do you think we are entering this new era of international relations where Bitcoin plays the main role, I mean, or the strategic role between nations? Could Pakistan and El Salvador lead a global alliance based on Bitcoin adoption? Do you see it that way?
Of course, we can lead the Bitcoin belt. And me coming here and signing this agreement with your country is the start of, as I mentioned, the world's first country that will be remembered in history that coined the term diplomacy. And I think it starts from us, and then this can then, I think this is contagious. The energy here is contagious. Bitcoin is contagious. And El Salvador taking the leap, we are following, we are learning, and then we will take the lead in Asia on creating these partnerships.
Right. So what could we expect from coming months or years, I mean, with this collaboration between Pakistan and El Salvador?
A lot of knowledge building, a lot of sharing, and you never know, we might be hosting a nation states Bitcoin summit in either Islamabad or El Salvador.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
It's okay. So I think this is all my questions, but so I want to say again, welcome to El Salvador. I mean, it is great to have this conversation. I think it was a great chat because, I mean, Salvadoran people are seeing that El Salvador is becoming this leadership, this leader in the world. So other countries are seeing it as well. So, I mean, I think this is amazing, and I think every Salvadoran should be proud about that. Yeah.
Every Salvadorian should be extremely proud of their president, because none of us has seen Satoshi Nakamoto, but we have seen President Bukele, and his conviction is not second to anything. His conviction is just as Satoshi Nakamoto's and his belief.
Great. Okay, so thank you for being here. And esto fue todo, amigos de El Salvador. Esta fue la entrevista con Bilal Bin Saqib, el ministro de Cripto de Pakistán. Y bueno, sigan pendientes de nuestras redes sociales y nuestros canales porque vamos a seguir contando historias de Bitcoin.